This is Shamanic Business. Welcome to the Shamanic Business Podcast. This episode I am talking to Raymond Jarmax, who is recreating psychedelic visuals in the digital space. Make sure to follow him on YouTube, Symmetric Vision. All right, Raymond, welcome.
Oh, well, I feel welcome. Hi.
All the way from Letland.
Oh, yes. Currently here due to Corona and everything. So currently don't feel stuck, but slowly growing here.
All right. So what I'm curious about, also for the listeners, what are you currently working on in your art and creative life?
So pretty much I want to try to do this with a sort of a little backstory. I will try to be as brief as possible because it sort of requires a backstory to just bring an idea to what I'm doing. Long story short, I'm trying to recreate visuals experienced on psychedelic drugs or different other states of mind, like sleep deprivation, meditation, dreams, all of that. Of course, it's all subjective and all. I never know how everyone else sees the world, but so far it's brought me, to Drugs Museum, Amsterdam, right? And
yes.
All kinds of places. So just making trippy visuals. And the thing is, I want to go into how it started because it seems to be the most important part. So here, I grew up to hate drugs. I was thinking it's pointless.
You grew up to hate drugs?
Yes. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why the story is interesting. I grew up to hate drugs because all I saw was carnage, destruction, ruined families, and everything. But I saw it all on TV. So thanks to our educational system here, the story goes like that. So when I was in elementary school, in 5th grade, we had a health class, and the teacher was showing us a video about the dangers of drugs. There were people mutated and all of that. So of course, kids are scared. Then 2 or 3 years later, I changed schools, and in 8th grade, I had a class in geography.
Okay.
And I saw the same video with same mutated people, but the thing is, the video was actually from disaster of Chernobyl, which we know about, So it sparked my first question, right? Something is off, but I didn't
Wait.
Yeah.
So the video, you saw the same scenes in 2 different videos.
Yeah, the thing is, to give you a brief explanation, in 5th grade, we had a health class and education about drugs, it's evil, bad, don't do them. And they show us video, with people mutated and suffering and all of that.
Okay, yes.
And then a couple of years later, in different school, in different class, I saw the same video to my memory. Of course, we know memories can be shifted, right? But it's my story. So I saw the video the same, but in different context. It was geography, disasters land around us and everything. So it made me curious, what the hell, what's happening here? Anyway.
So you thought hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I can swear here. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bro, yeah. Just to give you a small... So when I would be doing a podcast for somebody else, obviously I wouldn't be allowed to swear and my guests wouldn't be allowed to curse. But this is my own channel. It's just me. It's a one-man team. This is Shamanic Business, and I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Nice.
So you can also talk whatever the fuck you want.
Perfect.
And let's just have fun, man.
Okay, so I won't hold myself back. So to my memory, still, I didn't give 2 shits about it. It's okay, this is kind of off. This is weird. I'm still 14, so drugs are bad and everything. And then fast forward 2-3 years to me being 17, and I'm stuck in my dorm room in the school I was learning for a weekend at the time, studying IT. And I was bored, so I was just going through internet looking for different documentaries. I was into documentaries a lot. And still thinking drugs are bad, everything is bad, people who do drugs are useless pieces of shit, because that's how I thought at the time. Just drink a beer, and everything will be fine. You don't need anything else. Anyway, in this weekend, I accidentally got a hold on a documentary by National Geographic, Inside Marijuana. And I watched it thinking, what's the point? I'm just bored. Let's watch it, And I watched it and it's like, okay, this is weird. Why do these people talk about the medicinal benefits and everything while I'm
All
being
right.
told that pretty much it's just one-way ticket to ruining your life?
Yes.
Okay. Fast forward 3 or 2 years more, 3 years more, and I accidentally got a video, or I was using an app on my computer which just downloaded videos all the time, different random videos, and there's this one video where it's a music piece by 1200 Mics, Magic Mushrooms. You probably
Yes.
know it.
Yeah,
And
I know it.
the visuals for this video was like, random fractals, random trippy stuff. But the title said mushroom visuals. And I'm like, okay, do mushrooms make you see that, right? Why? Because I thought
They
would make...
can.
Yeah, that's the thing. And to my memory, it was like mushrooms make you see demons, dragons, gnomes, unicorns. It will just make you kill your
Also possible.
yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, I got curious, so I started researching, and for a couple of years I was just deep into reading about it. All my free time I just read about it because I was scared from drugs. I'm like quite careful person with everything I do, so before I try anything I do as much research as I can. So a couple of years later, I got the chance to try magic mushrooms.
All right.
And my first trip was
From the forest?
Not forest, nature, accidentally they just appeared in my life, yeah.
They dropped from the air.
Yeah, and I just was walking on the street and just suddenly a bag of mushrooms or pouch, whatever it's called. Anyway,
it happens to me a lot,
you just go there. Well, you're in Netherlands, so it's different. But yeah. Anyway, so I had my first trip, and my first trip was living hell. I actually grew up to be suicidal. All my life, I felt suicidal. Until I was born, till the age of 22, I just irrationally felt suicidal about my life, unhappy, everything. And I was just fantasizing about it all the time. So the mushroom trip reflected it. And I was going through my personal hell. I was seeing in my mind, my family dying, me killing myself and all of that. But even though my first experience was living hell, I felt like I learned something.
What did you learn?
I didn't know it at that time, right? I didn't know it.
But at least you was more in touch with the feelings that you had.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just had more questions. So I had another trip, and my first 10 trips were living hell. But after these trips, I didn't feel like I changed much. The only thing I noticed that I wasn't drinking alcohol anymore. It's like it just didn't taste good. Like I got used to it because I was drinking a lot.
All right.
And my day changed on the day when I was just randomly talking with my mother, and she's asking me, "What has happened in your life? You turned 180 degrees around. You seem different." And the only thing I could tell her was, I tried drugs. And I'm not doing them, right? But I just had these experiences, and we talked, and okay. So
what was her reaction?
Well, she was quite surprised, but she was always open-minded. We talked about sex and everything. I was whenever I was a kid, and I had the first big question, "Mommy, where did I come from?" She didn't tell me "Oh, the big giant animal dropped you in the garden," right?
The bird.
Yeah. Yeah, so in my case, she told me, "Well, yeah, me and your father, humans do this thing and everything, so that's how you appeared." And boom, thank you, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, after these trips, I will try to be as fast as possible. My life changed, and I felt this huge meaning. Like, what the fuck? I'm not suicidal. I'm not fantasizing about killing myself at any moment. And that thing for me was huge. And, the psychedelic people, they have this messiah phase in the beginning. Some of them, I saw the truth. Yeah, I did too.
I did.
So yeah. Cluelessly, I was sharing this. Oh, you have to do it, without knowing that people can get in psychosis too. I had a bunch of that too, right? Yeah. Anyway,
it's typical. It's typical that if you start your psychedelic journey, that we all come to the same phases.
Yeah. It's actually one of the trippiest things ever. So anyway, about a year later, I got my first experience with
Wait,
LSD.
before we get on,
Yeah,
I'm curious to the Messiah complex. How
yeah.
did it phase manifest in your life?
I was just when talking to my friends, it was quite clueless. For me, it's like, oh, I tried mushrooms, they will show you
Mhm.
the truth, everything about you,
Exactly. Yes.
you know the story, right? So I
Yes.
wasn't
Yes.
thinking about the safety part that much. I was just like, oh, it
Uh-huh.
changed my attitude towards me being suicidal. And I was just sharing it around. But seeing that some people couldn't handle it like I did, it made me think, it made
Yes.
me stop, right? Because they have potential to not only like make you a better human, but they have potential if you have like underlying issues, it can surface, right?
Yes.
And not everyone should do them, like, so yeah.
And especially not also like doing mushrooms when you're suicidal. I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily recommend it.
Oh yeah, I almost killed myself on my first mushroom trip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just for the listeners out there, just
Don't do
because
it.
this is a success story
Don't do it.
doesn't mean you should try it at home, because there's a lot of people who also freak out from these
Oh
things. So
yeah, actually, when I was living in Netherlands, I witnessed psychosis, which ended up with like you're talking with police and everything. So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
okay,
Sometimes you can just feel it, eh? Like
yeah,
if you
yeah,
meet a person, it's like, oh, you're the type of person that shouldn't be tripping on psychedelic drugs, you
yeah.
know?
I actually got my own filter for that because like alcohol here is a big thing. Like it's too big of a thing. So the way I see it, if a person goes not psychotic, but if they lose control on alcohol, like become violent, they should not take psychedelics in a situation which is not controlled.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my reference. I don't know if it's a scientific, but it's something I've noticed in my own reality, as well as like the people who are trying to too hard to put things into specific order, like really tight attachment to order. Like I know how
Yes.
things work, right? Because the
Yeah,
order
yeah.
gets destroyed.
People with control issues, basically. So
Yes, yes,
people with anger issues, control issues, and
yeah, yeah.
how you say this, impulse control issues.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, this to my thing.
That's just a few of many things. Eh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that people can
So,
have that
yeah.
it's better to not trip.
Yeah, okay. So the thing I'm doing right now. So a year later, after my first mushroom trip, I got a chance
Hmm.
to meet LSD, and the thing is that the trip was so mind blowing. Literally, sky and ground melted together. And the next day, I woke up with my notebook with one sentence that literally changed my life. And actually, the sentence
Wow.
was about the memory, and I can now phrase it because, like two weeks ago, I heard the same sentence on podcast by with Lex Friedman, who's an expert in AI, and he said like our memory works in a way you don't remember your event, but you remember the last time you remembered the thing, right? So I wrote it down after my first
Yeah.
LSD trip. I woke up and
Okay.
I see this text. I do not remember the event. I remember the event the first time, and the next times I remember, and it made no sense, but it got me stuck on it.
Okay.
And 3 months later, I got into argument with my girlfriend, and I was angry at her. So I just wanted to get out of the room, and instead of like doing drugs or getting drunk or whatever, I just made my first visual, and it was just an image of my girlfriend. I was drunk at her, not drunk, sorry. I was angry at her, and I made a picture of her with these psychedelic visuals, and I didn't even think about it being accurate or anything. I just had an image, and I had a weird feeling with it, and I had it on my computer for 3 months until I figured, oh, fuck it, I will share it. And I shared it, and people were like, what the fuck? This looks like the closest thing to LSD visuals. Oh,
Wow.
what the fuck? And the thing is, in 2014, I could find, since I researched these things a lot, I was so scared
So
I needed to see it. There were no
so hold
examples.
up.
Yeah.
Was this a drawing, a physical drawing, or was it digital?
It was an image of my girlfriend spinning poi, and I
Yes.
just did some effects. And the thing is, I have no background in creative part and no video
Uh-huh.
editing, nothing. I just felt the intuitive thing. I will do this thing. Fuck it,
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes. That's the
so
best way to go if you start making art.
well, I didn't know it because I had control issues and impulse control and everything. Right, a suicidal person. yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Anyway, the thing is, at that time in 2014, since I was trying to find examples I could find less than 10 examples with actual visuals online. Maybe I didn't look too hard, but I spent like months just looking for visuals. And most of them were from movies, like Taking Woodstock, Blueberry,
yes, exactly.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And there were some examples on Psychonaut Wiki, or at that time there was by the founder of Psychonaut Wiki. She actually made a blog called Disregard Everything I Say, and she had first examples I could find on psychedelics. So anyway, I made this.
So usually it's really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. Demons, gnomes, like people.
I like Blueberry. I like Blueberry, but most of them I don't like it.
Actually, by the way, the most one of the best videos I saw examples was a Latvian movie that came out in 2013, and I was surprised. Right. Yeah, I was surprised about it because here the education doesn't really exist. It's like even now we just made CBD legal in this January. Until then, you could go to prison for having hemp in your backyard, and cops were like taking down old ladies' gardens with just natural hemp growing there, and like blaming them from like growing drugs, So the education here is quite tricky. So I don't do these things here. Like, whoa, I'm scared. So I go to Netherlands once every couple of months to do my research, right?
Field research.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm happy that Netherlands is not that far away. It's 2-hour flight from here.
Nice.
Yeah. So yes, there were no examples, and I posted this video, and I had like hundreds of people commenting, like, "Whoa, what the fuck? This looks exactly like it," and all of that. And I did not expect it. Like I
Where
always
did you post it?
On Reddit. And the thing is, another thing, synchronicity thing. When I posted it, 2 days after a subreddit called Replications came live, and it's a subreddit where people do just that. They just create visuals, they try to recreate them and just share them. And of course, it's like a bunch of people just doing, usual things, people with big eyes and everything at the time, just colors and everything. But like 2 days before I posted my first thing, I didn't know where to post it even, right? So I was just looking for places. And the subreddit was born 2 days before I did it. And it's like, oh, what the fuck? This is funny, right? And yeah, so
those are the synchronicities, yeah? Once you start doing your creative path, and all of them appear all around you.
Thank you for this, because I haven't noticed the part that once I started do it, I didn't notice it before. So thank you for it. But yeah,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, I noticed synchronicities, right? But I didn't notice that they start when I start doing my thing. I'm not that educated in metaphysics so far. There are things that work for me, but I try not to talk about them.
So did the synchronicities were already there before you started your creative path?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't notice them. I only started noticing them like in 2016 when I went to Netherlands and I met people who thought about them, right? So, Yeah, because here those things didn't exist. Like I left Latvia just because I wanted to, just be in a place where I can try to grow this thing without feeling like a criminal.
Okay, but you are not doing anything illegal, eh?
Well, in Netherlands, no. Here, if I did it right, it's illegal. So.
No, but I mean the art that you produce, you are recreating.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So to keep myself safe, I take notes in Netherlands, take as much notes, everything I know. I've built my sort of a structure for it. And and then I just, create videos, right? It's just the art. It's nothing specific. It's just art. I'm not like advertising anything. It's just harm reduction from my perspective.
And how is it reducing harm?
Actually, the intention of me doing it is, I grew up to believe that I would see dragons and kill my grandma for next dose and all this bullshit. I just wanted to give an honest perspective on my experience. I know it's subjective, right? So I can't tell, you will see this. And I just wanted to share it, that this was my experience. I have no idea how the fuck I replicate it, because there are no tutorials on it. There is nothing I could learn from. And I was just like, okay, I will just try it.
You're a true pioneer.
Well, now, after these years, like, what the fuck? I've been called legend, genius, wizard. What the fuck? I can't even handle it. So yeah, I feel like I'm a like biggest piece of shit in the world. So I try to not. Yeah. It's nice. Like I'd like to stay humble, I guess. Anyway,
You sound humble. Yeah.
Yeah, it's natural. I don't like to think that I know something, because when I think I know something, it fails. So I like to stay in a state of idiot, right? As long as I'm idiot, I have space to learn.
Yeah, this is a very good mindset. I agree.
Yeah, it works for me. So yeah, after my first piece, I was like, okay, maybe I should try more. And I tried more and more, and more people liked it, and more people started sharing it. And now, yeah, I have like 32,000 followers on Instagram, which is just a number. 200K people on average look at my work every day I post it. On the first day, and it's kind of grown. It led me to the Poppy Drugs Museum Amsterdam. It led me to Netherlands branch of Vice doing article on me, which led me to a museum, right? And it's brought me to all kinds of places, and I just love doing it. It gives me purpose. I didn't expect it because I was suicidal, so I saw no purpose for my life. Nothing. It was nothing. So this thing, just as a hobby, just as a thing I did for myself, oh my God, it turned into this thing I can't even imagine. I don't have time to even keep up with it right now. I'm just spending all my day, every day, just trying to grow details on it, making it more accurate. And it will never be, and I love it. It's infinite mission. It will never be accurate.
Mission impossible.
Yeah, I love it. Because I was suicidal. Because I was suicidal, I was trying to look for things that gave me purpose. So I spent all my childhood life just sitting on YouTube, typing how to anything and learning everything I could, and getting super bored from it really quickly.
Yeah. You was looking for a passion.
Yes, I was looking for something to just not feel like shit all the time. Also, that's the thing. And of course, the closest escape was alcohol. And here in Latvia, 1/3 of every grocery store, 1/3, 1/4 consists of booze. It's actually, from my perspective, it's disgusting. For my perspective, it's just my view. I don't think it's bad or not, but from my perspective, oh my God, not too good. So
I agree.
And that's pretty much it grew there. So there were like two images I made two images, and the next thing I realized was like, okay, I have to do this in video. And now and then I started the videos, and now I'm doing it in virtual reality. I actually have divided focus because I'm working with psytrance people, psytrance labels, making visuals for psychedelic events. That's one of my passions. Playing music in smaller parties, making visuals for movies, music videos. Anything you can imagine, anything that gives me money to survive. It's just a passion. Like dope. And now, like, I feel like I could die tomorrow being happy, even though I'm not even 30 right now. But from my perspective, before this thing, I could kill myself at any moment, feeling like sad sack of shit because nobody cares. And now I feel like I don't, as long as I do this thing every day and I try to grow it, it just gives me purpose. I could die at any moment happy because I know that I spent all my day just growing the thing that's giving me purpose, right? So it's instead of promoting psychedelics now, I promote, dude, you have to find your thing. I will do everything to help you, because for me, even though I've done quite a lot of drugs for research, right?
For research purposes.
For research purposes. The most, the biggest high I get in my life is seeing a human see their potential and then slowly chasing it. It's better than anything I've ever done, any experience, just seeing any human. And it's I don't have specific message with my art. I don't have specific meaning. It's just, if you want to do these things, you have at least some examples of how it could be, not the fact that it will be bad and everything. And whoa, dude, like I think I've gotten close to 1 million messages, people saying thank you, I get messages every day from people like, thank you for this. Like I was scared from it and it changed my life. And because of your visuals, I can show it to my friends and they're not thinking, oh my God, I did not expect any of this. It's like, what the fuck? Like, whoa.
Dope, dope.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Love it.
It brings me to tears even now. Like it's, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just here talking to you, and it's like,
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
And it's just harm reduction in my own sense, right? And on top of that, I've been working with Psychonaut Wiki, like and different individual projects, like on YouTube. Done some pieces for, if you know, Psyched Substance, your mate Tom, drugs.
Yes. Oh, you're working with him. Substance.
I did some visuals for him. I do not specifically work for anyone.
No. I mean, you work with him.
Yeah. It's not even work. Like for me, it's like, oh, I want to do this thing for you. Okay, I will do this thing for you, and then I see where it goes because it's my passion. So the question and everything. We'll get to the question. It all revolves around this because the question we're talking about. Oh boy, it's
tell it.
Yes. So my question related to this podcast, and actually I got in a conversation about this question yesterday, and I've gotten in conversation with almost every artist I know in my reality has this question.
It's a very common problem, huh?
And the question is like, how do you market your artistic passions without losing your sense of integrity?
Yes.
And this is really like subjective thing, because from objective perspective, it's really simple. You just create your thing and you make money, right? Easy. But when you're an artist, actually, I don't call myself an artist. I'm an engineer, actually, which is weird.
Okay. Why do you think you're not an artist?
Because I look at this in really technical way. For me, it's artists is something special. I'm not a creator. I manipulate. So that's the thing. It's I leave this perception of who I am to other people, because it changes depending on the context. In Netherlands, like, people who know about my passion call me scientist, because in Netherlands people are quite pragmatic about the things, especially in drug education circles. Here, usual people in first 2 years call me a criminal because of it, So, funny stuff, right?
Yeah. I think every profession can be art. I think being an artist is about you doing your craft in your own creative way. So you're basically an innovator. I think entrepreneurship is all about art. And I think everybody has an inner artist inside, which has the potential to bring something new to the market,
Yeah, and I also noticed, like, people who are making the best art are almost never aware of it, which is funny.
True. So about the synchronicities, this will tie into the whole shamanic dreaming thing. Synchronicities is something really strange, right?
Yeah.
It's like the scientific community calls it even, or from psychology, they call it a coincidence that feels magical.
Nice way to describe
That's what it is, right? So then we don't even have to get all spiritual about it. It's just a coincidence that feels magical. It feels like it has meaning. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I also experienced that sometimes you cannot trust them. Sometimes they're really weird, the synchronicities, or a bit creepy, or I don't know. Did you ever? Huh?
Most times for me.
Yes, yeah.
Like for me, like the creepiest synchronicities bring the best connections, at least in my reality so far, and the least I trust it with my mind, right? Because trust for synchronicity comes for me, at least from my gut, from intuition. And
yeah.
And my mind is always like, okay, don't do this thing, you don't trust it and all of that. So if I rationalize it, it's always creepy. It's pretty much always creepy. If I shut off my brain, which seems impossible for me, I sort of trust them. And whenever I do, they bring results. Like the same thing with you and your peer museum, right? It's just like, whoa, accidentally just appeared there.
And do you also sometimes experience that a synchronicity has a negative effect?
Usually, if I've experienced, actually no, synchronicities are rarely, the result of it is rarely bad. It's easy for me to like mix up synchronicity, creepy feeling with fear in a way, because it's something new. I don't know, I don't trust. So my brain tries to like label it as, okay, this is fear. I don't know what it is. It's magical and weird and it feels like meaningful, but I don't know the person, I don't know what it is. It's just like a random thing. And if I like, the result of it is really rarely negative. It's just the perception of it for me. It's the result. If I trust them, it's so far actually 100% good. I always learn something from it. So
all right. So then you're on a good path.
I hope so.
Because a lot of people, especially if you're in a conspiracy mindset, sometimes, for example, in the beginning of the corona, the whole corona thing, somebody sent me a conspiracy theory. It was a really big text with, videos and everything. It was about corona being caused by 5G,
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know that.
So I read all of it, checked all of the videos, and then my head was completely full. And then I thought like, poof, man, let's just take a walk and walk it off, because I was in this state of fear. Like, is this real? Whoa. If you read too much of this shit, you get into it,
That's why I don't.
So, okay, listen. So I walk in my street, and then boom, at the end of the street is a fucking 5G tower. So and I was shocked. It hit me like a synchronicity. It felt like a coincidence that felt magical, right? So it shocked me. I'm like, whoa. And then like, wait a minute. Let's just not go into this that much, because it was making me more paranoid,
Yeah, no, how that works.
So I was confused because, how do you know when you can trust the synchronicity and how do you know when you cannot trust it? Because I really felt like, okay, this is a weird synchronicity. I was researching this conspiracy about the 5G tower, and then boom, I take one small walk, boom, there's a 5G tower in my street. How is this happening? What is happening? What to think of this? So I did. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have an idea on it. I have my own framework for it, my own explanation for synchronicities, all these magical things. And, like for everything that you see that relates to something in your brain, I personally think that the brain is a tool that recognizes patterns, right?
Yes,
so if I want to buy a BMW, I see BMWs everywhere on the street. If I'm afraid about my, people being like, aggressive towards me, I see aggressive people everywhere. If I look for a pattern, I see patterns that I'm thinking about the most, that are embedded in my subconscious mind, right?
Exactly.
So I don't spend my time delving into conspiracies because they work so good on your pattern recognition.
Yes,
like you said.
yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's why also, to get into the whole shamanic dreaming thing, I decided to do a shamanic dreaming session to ask the question, how do I know when I can trust synchronicities and how I can learn when I cannot trust synchronicities? So I start drumming, I get into the trance state, and I visualize a crystal cave. I get into the cave, and there in the underground river, my seahorse appears. You've seen my videos about the seahorse?
That's bit by bit.
All right. So I always ask my question to this seahorse, and then I jump on his back, and he takes me to the answer. And this time, he took me to what seemed like a inverted chameleon or chameleon. What is the thing?
Yeah, chameleon.
A chameleon is like an animal that changes color in its environment, right?
Yeah.
All right, but this chameleon was inverted, meaning he was changing color and his environment was changing into the color that he chose.
Nice.
And before him, there was like, it looked like a computer game. There was like a swamp, and in the middle of the swamp, there was a line, like a rope, stretched over it. And besides the rope, there were rocks. And I could see a little game character, and there were actually 3 positions that you could be in. You was either in the swamp, walking on the rocks, or cycling over the rope, over the line. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
You still follow?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, I saw the chameleon change color, and when he was changing his color to more dark, then the character was swimming in a swamp. And when he changed it to more bright, more beautiful colors, it became on the rock. And when it became on his absolute brightest, with the nicest psychedelic colors, then he was on the line. And there was like a message. So how do I interpret this? I always use the symbols from my shamanic dreaming session into my life, and I make it in a funny way, and I make it practical. So I categorize now the synchronicities into linies, swampies, and rockies.
Nice.
Swampies, rockies, and linies. So linies, if a liney appears, which is I start with swampies. Swampies, when swampies appear, swampy is a coincidence that feels magical, which makes you more paranoid. That's what it is. Very simple description. So it's a coincidence, it feels magical, and it makes you more paranoid. And almost all of the conspiracy, everything, it makes you see swampies. You still follow?
Oh yeah, I love this analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so rockies are when you're not in a swamp, but you're also not in alignment. So you're not cycling over the line. So he was cycling over the line with the one-wheeler, by the way. It was a really funny vision. But so the rockies, like for example, a rockies is basically, it's a synchronicity, but it doesn't help you directly. So it's a bit useless actually. Or it sometimes can be a warning. Like if you see a BMW everywhere because you're focusing on BMWs, that's not really a swampy because it doesn't make you paranoid.
Yeah.
But it's also not a liney because you're not in alignment. It's not directly helping you. So those are the rockies, I mean, one time when I was having trouble a bit with focusing, so I thought like, let's drop one of these dexamphetamine pills I got from the doctor.
Nice
Oh, you
doctor
think
you
it's
have.
nice?
Well, I never tried it, and because here it doesn't exist, but I was curious about it in Netherlands.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah,
tried
well,
it.
no, for the short term, yes, it can help you focus, but for the long term, it will deplete
I know.
your energy. So
That makes
a few years ago, I was already like, okay, this is not the thing. So after years, I decided to give it another try. 2 hours later, I'm having a Skype call, a Zoom call with a guy that helps me with marketing for the museum. And, as soon as he popped up on my screen, he's saying, "Oh, sorry, man, I'm a bit wired. I get these dexamphetamine pills from the doctor." And I notice now that it's really not a good thing, actually, for the long term.
Not.
So then I burst out laughing, like, all right. So after years, I pop one of these dexies, and then 2 hours later, you're on my screen telling me that it's not a good thing to take for the long term. So this is also a synchronicity. But this counts as a rocky. You follow that?
Oh yeah, I love this analogy still. Like I never tried to label and put it in boxes because I saw these 3 patterns, but I never organized them. So you are giving me a lot of knowledge right now.
Right. Yeah. It makes it really fun. Like you're in a game. Like you're the inverted chameleon, and you have to change your color into a bright psychedelic color as possible, because then your game character starts cycling on his one-wheeler over the line that's crossing the swamp. And then you get linies, and linies are the synchronicities that are directly helping you. Like you showcasing your art piece at our museum exhibition out of the nothing. That was a synchronicity, right?
Oh boy, yeah. It's one of the happiest moments in my life.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes it can get really creepy because I was writing a book, and in his book, it's a fiction. There was a guy, he was a drug trafficker, and he was shipping a few bricks of cocaine over the Atlantic Ocean. And I wanted him to visit an island in the middle of the ocean. So I just opened Google Maps and I zoomed in and I saw these islands, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this one, Ponta Delgado. And I tried to research something about it, but there wasn't much information available. So I thought like, I figure it out. So I think 2 weeks later or something, I was going to a festival and I dropped an ecstasy pill right before I arrived at the park. You know, and you know what? I arrived at the wrong park. What's the wrong park? This is always my thing, you know. So I called my friends. Like, oh fuck, man, it's typically something for me, you know. I picked the wrong park. So I said, okay, you guys go in. I'll just go to the other park and take my time and talk with people in the line. You know, always when you're standing in the line, you have the most fun with random people. So because I didn't want my friends to wait on me, you know, because it was my own mistake. But it was a really long line. So for 1.5 hours, I was having fun with a group of guys. And then at a certain point, one of them was turning around and I saw this Portuguese flag he was wearing as a cape. And I said, oh, what? You guys are from Portugal? And he said, no, you know, yeah, officially it's Portugal, but, you know, it's an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and you probably never heard of it. And I said, okay, wait, let me guess. Ponta Delgado. And they're like, what the fuck? How do you know? And I was like, yeah, I was basically expecting something like this because I need you guys for my book. So we're going to do an interview right now. Going to tell me all about the culture of the island, you know. And this is an amazing thing. And this is what I count as linies. When you are working on your passion, this is the most important. Then your inverted chameleon is the brightest with the most psychedelic colors, which causes your game character to cycle on his one-wheeler over the line, meaning you get linies everywhere. And the linies are the synchronicities that directly help you in your passion, in your art, in your entrepreneurship, in your game, in whatever the fuck you're doing, what you're passionate about, you know?
Whoa. Okay. This is nice. I will have to I will have to take a note on this because you just, I usually think visually. So like I never tried to separate these things. For me, like synchronicity is synchronicity. It's like I feel weird, magical coincidence. And then I'm like, okay, is it bad? Will it help me? Blah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
So now I have a new framework, which is way better than I had before, just to try, think about it a little bit more. Because now when you talk about it, since I started doing my thing, and as long as I do my thing, and as long as I'm focused on my thing,
yes,
I do get linies all the time. And I never thought about it that way. It's, whoa, what the fuck?
I love it when you're talking immediately with seeing linies everywhere, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a new framework that I didn't have. So, wow, it's for me, like immediately, as you said, like game character, instead of like thinking, oh, is that? Oh, fuck, this is nice. I like it. Thank you for this.
Yeah, and this is exactly also for you to illustrate how the visions are seen in your mind. Because also, I always do this little trick. Do not think about the pink elephant.
Oh, yeah, nice pink elephant, right?
you saw it, right?
Of course, come on, I know this.
Yeah. Okay, so what animal is next to the pink elephant?
A ferret.
All right, so you did your first shamanic exercise.
Really? Okay, tell me more. I have no idea about this.
So this is how it works. So you basically use your imagination. And so people always expect that when the drum sound starts, that they have to see really psychedelic visuals and blah, 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 blah. But this is doing it the other way around. This is like, okay, if you take amphetamine, yes.
Yeah.
You are temporarily really strong.
Yes, I know.
You can lift objects that you can normally never lift because of all the adrenaline, yeah?
Yeah.
But you didn't build the muscle.
Yeah.
So the next day, you cannot lift it.
Yeah.
So if you take a high dose of LSD, this is like taking amphetamine. You are the best visualizer. You have a rich imagination. You see visuals everywhere. But in the next week, your imagination is still the same as it always was. Maybe it's a bit brightened because you expanded a little bit. But with the shamanic dreaming, which is using your own imagination, it's very subtle. Very subtle. So it's about working out in the gym for your biceps, but this is your imagination biceps, you know?
Nice. I like that. My favorite biceps.
yeah, the imagination bicep is your favorite bicep. I believe you. So this is, especially the first time you do it, it's not going to be very bright. But for me, I've been doing it for a few years now. and it's getting really close to psychedelic visuals.
Oh,
And
nice.
every time I do it, becomes more bright. And actually, I also stopped tripping for a while now, because I was noticing that psychedelics deplete my imagination for about a week.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think, it uses so much of your imagination to produce all these visual effects that afterwards you're a bit depleted. And it was kind of hindering my shamanic dreaming journeys.
Yeah, I see.
So we're going to zoom on a little bit more about question. So
Yeah.
what you're going to be asking as soon as you get into the trance state. Yeah, so your inverted chameleon is shining bright, psychedelic colors. You're seeing linies everywhere. You're walking the path, but you are still not in the process of making a lot of money with it.
Oh, yeah.
So what is currently your situation? What do you use to make money? You do something else?
No, that's the thing. Like for the past 2 years, I've been surviving only on this. It's survival, but I have infinite amounts of time, so I'm the happiest I've ever been. But
Okay, yes.
yeah, 2 years ago, I completely dropped the idea of having a job because like I could not stay in a place. I worked pretty good jobs, developer,
Mm-hmm.
robotics engineering, all kinds of stuff, design and all that. But I always, after 3 months, I just felt I can't take it anymore. I just wanted to kill myself.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so like 2 years ago, I moved out of the city, came sort of back to my parents' house in the middle of nowhere just to try and focus. Maybe, until 30, I can try to make this thing work. So last
Yes.
2 years, I've been 100% into my thing. And at the time, I'm in a state where I can survive below my means, but I can survive. I can exist just doing my
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't worked in 2 years, because it doesn't feel like work to me.
Dope.
Yeah, and like I've done like different projects that are not related to my thing, like some coding things and stuff like that, just to like get some extra money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, in 90% of my last 2 years, it's been just making wavy animations of random things. So
Yeah.
so I keep kind of drives me nuts because like I constantly get people like writing me a message, oh, you'll be rich. Well, I don't really think about it that way. It's not my focus. My focus is to keep doing my thing for as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I I
Mm-hmm.
know it would be nice, to have more tools and everything, but as long as I focus on the passion and process itself, it feels like I'm getting all the tools without the money. Like I have all the tools but no money, which seems more important than having money. And
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
course, like any human, I would love to raise my comfort, and I know that the only thing that's stopping me is my own mentality. It's not like
Yes.
yeah. So my question again: how do you market your artistic passions without losing your sense of integrity? Right?
Beautiful
Yeah,
question.
it's because it's not even as before. Like it's not that hard and it's not that simple, right? It's more about the feeling because most artists they feel like sellouts, right? Because they love creating so much. It's most important thing. The rest of it is secondary. They just want to keep creating, and that's the important thing. And as
Yes.
soon as I start personally focus on money, I lose my creativity, I lose my patience, I lose my inspiration, I lose everything. So I'm sort of afraid to put my focus just on money because whenever I do, I lose sort of a touch with the flow of inspiration. I operate on inspiration. So
Yeah.
so since people struggle with this is a persistent question that's like never gone. I see it everywhere I meet artists. Everyone has it. Maybe okay, let's say not say everyone. I will say 99% of artists I know have the same
Mm-hmm.
struggle
Mm-hmm.
because starving artist is starving artist not because they don't have opportunities. They're mostly starving because they just want to do their thing, and everything goes to tools and everything goes to everything to just keep feeding their creativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this feels like a really important question to me, to a lot of people I know.
Yes.
I didn't look like for outer answers from it. It's just a question, just had to come up with a question, right?
Mm-hmm. So the science behind it, the rhythm of the drum actually puts your brain in a theta brainwave
I love it.
state. which is also measured when people are smoking DMT, having a visionary experience, and also when people are vividly dreaming in their REM sleep, the REM, rapid eye movement sleep phase.
Mhm.
So it's basically very much like tripping and like dreaming, but the most subtle form.
Let's try it.
All right, here we go. This is Shamanic Business.
Okay.
You're back. Welcome back, man.
I'm still going back. Give me 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Take your time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm pretty good friends with the symbolic representations of my own subconscious mind due to DMT, but whoa, okay, this was fun. Yeah. Not what I expected, but half of it was already familiar with me. Nice.
Okay. It's best to start talking as soon as possible, or else it fades like a dream. Eh?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've been stuck on observing my own subconscious mind for a while, trying to see the relation between the symbols and what happens in my reality. But okay, we'll go with the story.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, like you said, I had to imagine a cave. It took me a time to get out of time feeling, because in my mind I was trying to like, okay, how much time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I was in the forest, try to my visualization thing is really like subtle, but I got the image, not visual, but I got the place. Anyway,
Yes.
so I started walking in the cave, and usually like here caves are like filled with carvings with like, this dude loves that girl sucks that, and you know the thing. Anyway, so I'm going in this cave, and the caves here are not really that light, so I started to walk in the darkness, and I got really scared. Like I got really claustrophobic. The more I was to a point like for 5 minutes or so time.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid. I was afraid to take a step, because I saw the only darkness in front of me, and the light behind me was fading away. So I felt like kind of suffocating. Anyway, I spent some time trying to like gather my guts to like just take a step forward, because like I'm quite scarily by nature.
All right.
At one moment, I got into darkness and I lost the sense of direction. So I just kept walking in some direction, right? Because there's no direction. The funny part is I didn't see the thing. I didn't see anything from first-person perspective. I saw me from the side. Third person, which was weird, right? Okay. So I was keeping walking through the darkness, walking through the darkness. And then the scenario, which is, wow, okay, I did not expect that. So I didn't see crystal clear caves, nothing. For me, it was, I started to walk in a field, in a night. So in the middle of this cave, there was a field of dandelions, the old dandelions when they are growing their seeds, and the fluffy things go everywhere.
Dandelions? Wait.
Dandelions are those yellow flowers that turn into these fluffy white seeds, and they fly everywhere.
Okay, yes, got it.
Anyway, the weird part is, okay, I'm going in this field, and it's night. I couldn't see the sky, but I knew there was sky around me, and it's night, like a moonlight, but without the moon. Then I was like expecting for ferret, some animal. I saw a bunch of cocoons of butterflies everywhere.
Okay.
And then instead of focusing around my question, I tried to focus on my question. I got completely different thing, which is I will listen to this drumming for a long time after this. Anyway, these cocoons, there were people, my experiences, everything that was related to my attachments, the way I see it. Like, there were people that hurt me, just stepping on these cocoons everywhere, just like, but as soon as the person or situation tried to hurt the cocoon, it turned into a blue neon butterfly. Okay, I did not expect that. So everything I saw was, okay, these experiences in this meadow of night, just touching these cocoons, they were turning into these blue butterflies, really blue, like
So
neon.
what was touching the cocoon?
It's like people that hurt me, that
In the past.
situation. Yeah, like in the past, like
Yeah, yeah.
situations where I put myself and I got hurt, and they were
Mm-hmm.
touching these butterflies, but it didn't stop there. So I'm going and I see like single situation, like people you hurt me, just not seeing it visually, but I saw with each of these cocoons there was a situation that hurt me in the past.
Okay.
And
Yes.
really quickly I got to the thing that attachment, attachment to the question, attachment to money, attachment to everything. So I started asking the question, right? Because like, okay, I see
Yes.
my past experience, I'm used to DMT, so I kind of learned some things or two from it. But
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so so it didn't end there. So at one point I see only butterflies just flying up from the grass, from the dandelion field, flying up
Mm-hmm.
and just cocoons turning into butterflies. As soon as I gave them question about the integrity and all of that, I started seeing snakes, and snakes I'm quite familiar with them. I am afraid from them with my human mind, but they are like, yeah, I
Okay.
saw black snakes
So the
everywhere.
butterfly turned into snakes, or the snakes come
No,
out of
no,
nowhere?
no, 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 no. They were together, butterflies and snakes.
Okay.
So
Yes.
snakes sort of joined the party, right? As soon as I
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
the
yeah.
question, I saw, pretty much snakes like going into knots everywhere. Just on the ground, there were snakes. And instead of just like a field, the furthest ends of the field I could see were city houses at night, like skyscrapers without lights. Like in the distance, there was no cave.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like
Mm-hmm.
a field in the night with no moon, but with moonlight. And I could see silhouettes of like giant skyscrapers. Some of them had lights, some of them didn't, but it was like really dark. And
Okay.
these
Yes.
these snakes started to form like the structures usually I get on DMT and mushrooms, like these structures made out of the neon snaky everything with snakes. DMT is snakes for me. It's just all natural for me. So they formed these structures, and it pretty much, without the visual side of it, the snakes made structures that resembled my mushroom trips, entities and all of that, but like it came to that. So in the end, I was in a field with dandelions, butterflies constantly, like cocoons, constantly turning into butterflies. I didn't see the face of changing. I didn't see them coming out of the cocoons, but the butterflies, I saw cocoons which just like turned into butterflies at instant and
Poof.
flew up. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And it was going up everywhere. Everywhere I saw just like blue butterflies, blue, really
Mm-hmm.
neon. Uh, and these snake structures sort of like overtook the places where I saw these houses, the skyscrapers. And yeah, so I was in the middle of a field looking at neon butterflies going everywhere, no relation to everything. I just heard the word know your attachments, know your attachments, your integrity is strictly related to how you attach to money. You understand that it's just a tool, but you're still attached to it in an emotional sense. That's why you are mixing up integrity with a tool or something like that. That's what I
Okay.
heard.
Yes. That's what
Yeah.
the snakes were saying, or
No, it's just the thing I heard in my mind. It's not, nothing
okay,
was saying it. The
the
snakes did.
subconscious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the butterflies didn't tell me anything. They were just flying up constantly, perpetual butterflies, cocoons turning into butterflies whenever something bad from my past touched it. And then these snakes were just forming these structures, kind of like DMT, and just looking at me. No, not really heads with eyes, but just snaky structures, like
Mm-hmm.
tentacle, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And then I
And these
started.
structures, what kind of emotion did you feel from the structures?
This typical DMT thing, unconditional love,
Okay.
smart,
Yeah.
not really fear, but like respectful wisdom, like pay
Yes.
attention, something like that. Pay attention, wisdom, because I'm afraid of snakes naturally. Whenever I see snake, I just, whoa, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But in my trips, I see snakes all the time. It's all they're always, everything is snaky for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was in a field with snake structures. butterflies going up, and then I started to hear the drumming go slower, and I figured, okay, this is where tense. So I started to like take these steps back. But for most of my time, since I didn't feel the sense of time, for most of my time I was just looking around from third person perspective in this field at myself, knowing it's me but not recognizing me. I knew the feeling of it's not like
Yes.
I didn't see my clothes or anything, just a shadowy figure, but I knew it was me.
Yes.
And also like the visual part of it looked kind of like K-hole. You probably are experienced with ketamine. So
Yes. Yeah.
so I started taking steps back, and I couldn't even manage to get out of the cave, but out of the scenario where and the drumming stopped, and yeah, I came to my like the place. I realized that, oh wow, it was just like 20 minutes. It felt like, when you meditate, it feels like nothing. So no sense of time. And then yeah, I switched on the mic because it shot me, and I was like, oh shit, I have to walk back. I'm losing the flow and all of that. But that's why I asked for extra 30 seconds. I was still like with one foot there, and with one foot I was talking to you. So yeah, I'm quite interested, like from your perspective. By the way, I can send you the video of structures.
Yeah,
because
sure.
I've
But
made these. I made these structures before in my own pieces.
first, we're gonna decode a little bit the visions.
Oh yeah, another thing. I have a question for you. Can I use these drums you sent me in my next piece? Because I'm building pretty big piece related to DMT, and this felt like exactly the thing that was missing from the piece. And I would love to ask for your permission to use this.
Yes, man. Yes, man.
Yes.
Love
Okay.
it. I recorded it. This is my drum.
Yeah, thank you. It's even better because wow, I will listen to this shit a lot. Yeah. It's it wasn't visual. I'm all about the visions, but I had the feeling. The feeling was so intense. I could feel the space, and only thing that had color in the thing was blue wings of the butterfly. So now we can go to the coding part, because I'm interested in the outsider perspective on it. I know my relation to it because I try to understand symbols in my subconscious on my own. I use DMT in a specific way. So yeah, intention-based way that requires you to understand what's happening in your subconscious a bit.
Exactly.
So yeah,
it's a very mysterious language that your subconscious uses.
Oh yeah.
But so we start with the beginning.
Yeah.
So you was in this field, and it was with the dandelion flowers, right?
Yeah, the dandelion flowers, but they were already in a state where they were fluffy, and like they were just flying everywhere. Like when they're sprouting seeds, and they are not yellow, but they're in the next phase where they're already seeding everywhere.
So this is spring. What time is this?
Something in summer. Something. I think they're summer. I think they are at least here. They are seeding at I think end of June, July, something like that. Some of them are alive now, but some of them, mostly, they are always like in July, June.
And what is your association with these dandelions and flowers?
Nothing. Never, ever. I've noticed them. I only notice them when I walk around the fields looking for mushrooms. So it's. I never noticed them.
Okay.
I never had relation to them.
But this is something.
Yeah.
You notice them when you're walking to the fields looking for mushrooms.
Yeah. I only notice them when I'm looking for mushrooms on the fields, and other than that, they're just a yellow flower that stains. I had no previous relation to dandelion flower ever. I didn't pay attention to how I felt about it. So
okay. So the closest thing that we know about your association is that you see them when you're looking for something mind expanding. So we start from there.
Yeah.
So the next step is you witness the cocoons.
Yeah, everywhere. On these flowers, there are cocoons everywhere. Yeah.
Yes. And then memories come from people in the past that hurt you, and as soon as
people, situations, everything, memories, touching, as soon as every single memory only touched not one cocoon per memory, sort of a thing, but they were happening all at once. And I think you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah. So then the cocoon represents the pain, maybe?
I think so. Metamorphosis, I guess. something like that. But it's maybe because the way I process emotion, I lock myself in a shell. I just retreat and isolate myself. So I always do it on my own, kind of like being stuck in a cocoon, not seeing what happens outside. At least that's my association with it. But it was. Every time I get hurt, I know that I immediately retreat, lock myself away from my friends. I never talk to people. I just process it on my own. So
And so it were memories that were touching the cocoon.
Yeah. The representation of a memory. For example, like I've seen my ex cheat, and the situation, the memory, if it touched a specific cocoon and it turned into butterfly, but I didn't see in the face how the butterfly climbs out of cocoon. It was just like, oh, there's a cocoon. And as soon as the memory, the representation of memory touches it, it's poof, a blue butterfly, neon, something, and just flies up.
All right. So what do you think about when you think of these blue neon butterflies?
Actually, nothing. I know that there are, whenever I do outside parties, right? Whenever I play like some psytrance in parties outside or whatever, I'm always surrounded by butterflies. I don't know what the fuck, but they are always there. And like I can like send you a bunch of images from the last party I did, and like all my computer, everything is surrounded with butterflies, night moths, stuff like that. I always felt some connection, but I never like, oh, they're just, bugs. They're nice bugs, pretty metamorphosis. I know they represent metamorphosis. That's all relation I have to it. And and as soon as my memory touched it, it just turned into a butterfly. No other association besides raves, people in butterfly costumes everywhere.
Yeah. It's probably that, the cocoon is the way how you process your emotions. And if a memory touches your cocoon, it turns into a butterfly, which could be a life lesson that you've learned from it.
Yes, it goes perfectly together with that. Like as soon as I allow that memory, because at the beginning I was afraid and I was struggling. It's like, when you see shadowy figures, like they're touching and invading when you're like tripping and like it feels like monsters are jumping into your face. And as soon as you let go, they turn into flowers, right? So
exactly.
It was like that. Like I saw these memories kind of invading the field of butterflies, and they were like creeping on. And it did feel like I had to let go a bit. I don't know. It felt like I had to allow that evil memory to touch the cocoon, and I was scared for those cocoons. It's like butterflies in danger, right? And as soon as I could look at the memory touching the thing, because I was scared, I was looking away like, oh my god, evil demons, right? So as soon as I allowed, kind of let the story play itself, the memory kind of surrounded the cocoon, it turned into butterfly. So I think it's related to processing, because I know that whenever I retreat after experiencing some sort of trauma, I try to rationalize it, I try to like put it in some sort of label, and I'm not allowing it to go through. I'm a control freak by nature, so it's
makes perfect sense so far. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, this thing.
And
go on.
One question: was it new memories that you didn't process before, or were those memories that you processed before already?
They were compositions of the memories from from my past, and the things that hurt me in general, the patterns, but all of it relates to attachment. That's the thing I realized from this session is attachment. Like only because I try to rationalize the pain, I'm not really allowing myself to go through it. Something like that. The message I got was something like that. I actually wanted to like speak loudly while I was going through it, but I was afraid that if I speak, I might lose the image, because it for the first session of, call it whatever, Shamanic Dreaming or something, but I was quite surprised.
It's quite strong stuff, huh?
It's like the weakest psychedelic experience ever, but it was something. It was something, it did happen. The spatial part was there. I didn't see visions or anything, but I do recognize the blue butterflies.
Yeah. It's in your mind's eye. It's not like really bright visuals, but you can see
Yeah.
animals and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So another question is, did you actually feel the emotions as soon as the memory touched the cocoon?
Yeah, it was. I'm quite like overly emotional human for being a dude, you know. So for me, the most of the journey was, yeah, when they touched it, I didn't feel any relief or anything. It was just like really nice to see
Mm-hmm.
that those cocoons are not just like rocks or something; they're actually butterflies. So uh, I felt really nice, you know, because I already sort of understand how to talk in my subconscious, but I never did it in this way. So it was nice to see from sort of an outsider's perspective my journey and my pain and the core of like a suffering thing. It's I know that it comes from attachment, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
same as this question, this specific question, I realized that it's not about, you know, the concept of, you know, artists just doing their work and being passionate about their work. It's more about my relation to how I think about the money, and that I do understand it's a tool, but I let emotions into it. I was like, oh, it makes me a bad person because I think
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
it. Something like that. Something like that. And it started, actually, this realization started with snakes. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. And also, just to let you know about the
yeah,
money thing, I
yeah.
think making money is also art.
Yeah, well, I never saw it that way. I was brought up believing, and I was taught that only way you can get money is by fucking people over, so it's evil. It's an attitude here, which is not that rare.
So I have a very, very nice metaphor also
Nice.
derived from a shamanic dreaming session in a minute. But first, we're going to continue with the
Yeah.
journey from you. So the snakes, when did the snakes appear exactly?
So I was observing these butterflies. I got used to the idea that, like, okay, these are my memories. Okay, these are the things that hurt me, that stem from me, of course. But yeah, these are the things. And then I was like, oh, okay, might have a chance to try the question thing, right?
Uh-huh.
So as soon, you know, okay, we'll give you an analogy. You know, when you go in a mushroom trip and you think you can go there with a question, you know, and then the mushrooms
Yeah,
tell me
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Hey, you little human, don't you dare ask me for your little questions, right? Let me show you." So
Yeah.
at the beginning, as I tried to ask the question, as with mushrooms, it felt like that. How dare you ask me your weird money questions, right? So
Mm.
then, as I let go of that part, when I like, okay, I want this question, I came here with this question is important to me, I will, okay, fuck it, I will see what happens. I asked this question, and even before I started asking it, when I had the thought, okay, I will go with the question, the snakes started appearing. But they were not like fearful or threatening. They felt like something that promotes wisdom. Pay attention, look. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we are
Mm-hmm.
not evil, we are not bad, you are
Yes.
afraid of us because of instinct, but we do not bite for no reason, something like that. Just look at what we do. So
Yes.
these snakes started to form into structures I've already made before. And yeah, as I mentioned, I can send them to you because I've made them before, and I know that I will make them again now because what the fuck, I just saw them in my this session. So it is,
Yes.
for me, it's
Yes.
a sign that I will continue on that direction, because like I I dropped the project with those specific snakes about 3 or 4 months ago, and it was like a really good project. And I was like, oh fuck it, let's do another thing. So for
Uh-huh.
me, it
Uh-huh.
felt like, okay, how do I don't lose the sense of integrity when I focus on like making something more out of my art than just survival? And then the snakes started to form the structure that I already made before, and judging by people's reports, has been the most accurate DMT replication to date. So I'm getting back to that snakes, and if I can, I'm using your drums for it. Like, dude,
Dope.
yeah,
Dope.
I feel so fucking grateful. Like, I don't even
Dope.
I haven't even processed it, but those things were just like a specific sentences. I have to ask you for drums. I have to finish this thing, and I have to change my current project to the thing I already started before. And what I started was these snake structures. They were
Yes.
familiar. I can't describe them to you, but I can only show them to you. I'm glad I can show them.
I'm very curious. And what color were the structures?
No color. It's like on K-hole, you know. There's no color. Always, whenever I meet snakes, they're always like a glossy black with neon patterns, spots, eyes on them. And I will send you just an example because I'm so fucking glad that I have an example.
Just curious, why did you stop this project?
Because the way, like, I have at least 60 started projects right now. That's how I operate. I operate on inspiration, so I'm quite chaotic. And for me, I don't have a job or anything because I realize that if I'm stuck in a job and I have like this inspiration moment, I have to do it immediately. So now I'm in a situation where I can do anything. If I have inspiration, I can just get back to work and do my thing. And the thing is, because I operate on inspiration, these things, I build a thing, I don't really finish it, but I go on with it. Okay, I just sent you the thing with the snakes. Whoa, these structures are like, what the fuck? They're so familiar. Okay, I just got my mind blown.
This is what you saw? This is what you just saw? Wow.
Yeah, and if you open up the video, it's a VR video, and you
I see it. I'm looking around now.
Look up. If you look straight up, that's the structure.
Okay.
So I had these 6-pointed structures everywhere. And I dropped this project because I started new ones. And it's like just a creative process. I just create and destroy. And this, I did not expect this, dude. Like, what the fuck? Nice.
I think I have an idea what it means.
Oh, thank you. Go on.
Because, it's always the case that there are certain forces like archetypes.
Yeah, I know archetypes. I'm into that a lot right now.
Yes, and every time with every person, it gets dressed in a different animal or a different symbol.
Yeah.
And what I notice, like 2 major forces, you can call it yin or yang, or the Shakti and the Shiva, or how I like to call it, my inner artist and my inner entrepreneur.
Oh, okay, go on.
And my inner artist is like a wild ocean. It wants to create, and it's free, and it's all about inspiration, and it just, creates whatever the flow is at this very moment. But my inner entrepreneur is actually guiding the wild ocean in the right direction, what's best for me in the long term.
I'm familiar with the concept.
Yeah, right? So I think the snake might be your inner entrepreneur energy.
Oh, yeah.
And the structures that they're building is the structure of your business.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever long-term project that can actually be monetized or generate money. And because the snakes were telling you, you think we're evil, but look at what we're doing.
Yeah. It's exactly like that. Look at what we're doing. You think we're evil, but look, pay attention. We will show you things. Just allow us to show you. And as soon as I allowed it, well, at the beginning, these snakes were everywhere. They were crawling everywhere. And as soon as I listened to the feeling like, okay, just don't panic. Allow us to we won't bite, we won't bite. We are not evil. Just pay attention. And as soon as I allowed to focus on what they're showing to me without emotion and what I think about them, they started to form the structure I just sent to you. So it's,
dope. Super dope. So what helps me a lot is when I get visions. Yeah. Like I just told you about the chameleon vision.
Yeah.
When I'm working on this specific thing, I call this my chameleon game. Okay. So when I'm paying attention to linies and everything, then I'm working on my chameleon game.
Okay.
So I want my chameleon game to be at my very best. And another example, also to show that a butterfly for you means something different than a butterfly means for me. Because I was asking the question last week, actually. I was asking the question, what value can I provide for my clients? Okay. So then I got into trance, and it showed me a butterfly, and I went onto the back of the butterfly, And we went to the beach, and on the beach were caiman, like very big crocodiles. And they were looking like they were blinded, you know?
Okay.
And so the butterfly took place on the nose of the crocodile, and he started eating the minerals out of his eye.
Oh, nice.
And after this, the crocodile, he could see clearly again.
Okay.
And then he was diving right back into the river to get back to the hunting, because, you know, the crocodile is a hunter.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
For me, this symbolizes the symbiotic relationship. This is actually happening in the jungle. The butterfly has a easy access to minerals.
Yeah.
You just have to eat it from the eye. It's very easy and accessible. And the caiman, the crocodile, when he goes hunting a lot, the minerals get stuck in his eye, so he see blurry, and then, you know, the hunting doesn't go so well. So he goes on the beach waiting for the butterfly to eat it from the eye so he can see clearly again and go right back into hunting.
Nice.
So for me, what I do now for you, like I am the butterfly in this metaphor, and you are the caiman. So you were seeing blurry in the area of entrepreneurship. And I'm the butterfly.
Yeah.
And like, if you would be a paying client, the minerals that I eat from your eyes would be the value that it's like a value exchange.
Yeah, I see.
And in this way, you can make money in a symbiotic way that both of the parties win. You know, it's like a service that you deliver.
Yeah, that's the thing. I never, like, due to my own complexes and thinking on the way I think I was brought up and thinking on the back of my head, you know, I'm a burden to this world and all that. I'm not allowing myself, for example, these opportunities. They are coming at my way all the time, but I'm like, oh, there's, you know, no point. I can't do it that well, and I'm not allowing myself to like sort of take these opportunities. Like it's a choice. I see it as a choice which didn't feel like a choice. It felt like something I have to do, you know, like trying to find an excuse to show that to that person who is interested, like my client is interested in my work. I don't see the fact that they are interested in my work. I immediately like go, oh, you know, I won't be that good. Don't expect this. So I'm cutting down my own ability for entrepreneurship, even though I do all these things at once and they're multi-focused. Because of my relationship to money, I know that I provide value to people because I get feedback about it all the time. But I'm so stuck up in my head. You know imposter syndrome, right? So
yes, I know it. I have it all the time.
Yeah. So I have a perfect.
None of what you experienced was real. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. So best experience, best example for you actually, because you know you are strictly related. So in museum, right? For my personal growth, being in the museum at its launch event was the happiest day of my life.
Yeah, because you had the confirmation, like, wow.
Yeah. Like I had confirmation online, you know, thousands of people sending me things. But for the first time in my life, I saw actual people going by that screen and getting stuck there for half an hour or an hour was the set. And I was like looking, hundreds of people just going and getting stuck. And my imposter is to such a level where people came to me talking, like offering me to go everywhere with them to party, you know, opportunities. And I'm like, dude, why? You know, it's just trippy visuals. There's nothing in it. Even though I'm in the museum in the center where like there's huge screen with my passion on it. And I'm not able to I'm not able to receive the fruits of my labor. I still do the work all the time. But when it comes to receiving, I feel like I'm not worth it to a way. And the event in Drugs Museum Amsterdam, it was like I keep talking about it with my friends and people here all the time to like showcase how dumb I am in terms of imposter syndrome. Because there, like in the museum, people constantly came to me, talk to me like, oh, what the fuck? How did you make this? And I'm like, oh, it's just trippy visuals. It's nothing. They just move, you know. And then as soon as the event was going like towards the end side, I was just disappeared. Like I did nothing, didn't say bye to anyone. That's my pattern because like I go there, I do the thing, I see the thing because I love doing the thing. and then I disappear. I never picked the fruits, never, ever.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
have to find a way I can address it. That's
Y-
what I know.
You have you are currently suppressing your snake game.
Yeah.
So I always just add the word game to the dream animal that appeared to us, you know.
I have to take a
And
note on it right now.
so if you start embracing your snake game, and I don't know, buy a little snake statue, make some
Yeah.
art with a snake, and
Oh, I'm
really
doing it.
embody and embrace this snake energy and start fucking rocking this shit and make some fucking money, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and thing is, like, I had some people who, like, mostly girls in my past that were like coming to me, like, "Hey, you're a snake. Hey, whoa, you look like a snake. You're a snake. Don't be afraid." I'm not thinking like from Western perspective where snake is like this evil thing. No, from Eastern perspective where it's wise and stuff like that. And
Yes.
like in my past 2 years, I've been meeting people who are like, "Oh, you're a snake. You're a snake. You have this snake energy." I never saw myself like that. And like these people, they're of course, in psychedelic events because where else do people talk about these things? It's like
Yeah.
it's like either online or there. So I was always afraid of snakes because I never saw them in my life. The first time I saw a snake, I stepped on one with my bare foot. So
Wow.
while I was tripping and going on a hike. So my first
I saw a
relation,
really big one in the jungle in
yeah,
Peru, like
oh
a
fuck,
yellow with orange stripes.
I can't imagine it.
Woo!
I can and can't imagine it because like the snake I stepped on wasn't that big, but like with my bare foot tripping in the first time in my life, it got imprinted into my subconscious because I was going and just suddenly I feel the thing below me and I look down and instinctually I was jumping. It was a
Mm-hmm.
reflex. So my first encounter with the snake was maximum fear, irrational fear. So I always suppressed it, but start embracing the snake game. I have to like literally write this on my wall because yeah, it's the thing. I feel that it's the thing. Synchronicities and lines and it feels like a line.
Liney.
Yeah, it feels liney because like usually the treasure you are looking for lies in the place where you are most afraid to look, right?
Uh-huh.
And for
Yeah.
me, it's I always had irrational, not fear, but like a thing for snakes. And
Oh, wow. Yes.
now like I know that I have even my desktop is an infinite tunnel of snake scales I made myself while on mushrooms.
Dope.
Yeah. It's it's weird. I unconsciously I have snakes everywhere, but I'm afraid of them. I will actually send you my desktop just so you can see it.
Yeah. Show me.
It's a reference. So yeah, actually this is the first 3D piece I ever made.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
so it's
That's
there.
dope.
Wow, this actually I did not expect this. I'm really like on my face right now. And dude, like in my mind, I've experienced like death hundreds of times and all of these things, like, but I never looked at the snaky stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so you see how even a subtle experience can have a really transformative effect, eh?
Yeah. Well, I've noticed like with psychedelics, you can go with 100 micrograms with LSD to the place where you would go on 400. It just depends on how you look at the experience, like how you use it.
Exactly.
So it's just a tiny trigger for trance. It's not like you have to like take 1,200 mics to see everything, right? You will, but it's yeah, it's how
And
you
the
use
more
it.
you train this, the better you become at it.
Oh, I will. This thing, like, it surprised me. It really
You actually work out the imagination bicep. Huh?
It felt like that. And actually, like at one moment when I was going through the meditation, I was like, I remember that, okay, exercise this bicep more, like I remember you saying like the
Yes.
imagination bicep. I actually have to take note of that too.
Dope,
And
man.
yeah,
So you're
thank you.
going to work on your snake game?
Oh, definitely. Like it's a pattern that keeps repeating in my life for like last 2 years. Like something's like, okay, go to the snake game, and like in my I haven't had mushroom trip in a long time because I haven't been in Netherlands in a long time. But in my last
Uh-huh.
mushroom psilocybin trips, it was all about snakes, like all
All
the
right.
structures, everything's like, okay, pay attention. Everything, it's just turned like a while ago. And the thing is, snake stuff started when I started to like sort of try to become aware of my dark side. And I always
Yes.
related it to darkness, but in past years I kind of just, yeah, it's not darkness, it's just a corner I haven't explored in my own mind.
Yeah,
But
it could be entrepreneurship, you know?
yeah, it could be. That's the thing. I never that's the thing. I grew up to believe that people who have money mostly are not having it with value, but mostly either they fucked someone over or scamming something, because I guess it was in my family or something. So I didn't want to do that. So I thought that like whenever I have money, I fucked someone over. It's a really bad pattern in my mind, you know. And
Let's put it like this.
yeah,
Let's say you make a lot of people happy and you
yeah.
make $1 million with it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah? Then you made a lot of people happy and you got $1 million that you can do good things with.
Yeah, this is the thing. I only like whenever
It's double. Double
that's,
positive.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, for example, I have like places where people can donate. I have a principle, you know, whenever person decides, you know, to put their resource into me, it all just goes to my art. I never like eat from it. It's just a principle where whenever people decide to share for no reason, it just must go back into it. So for me, it's like I already know what I would do with it. It's just about the attitude towards it. Like I can't get it because I'm not allowing myself to get it, because I feel evil about it in a way,
Yes, yes.
because of the way I was brought up, apparently.
I'm going to send you a few things that might help you with this.
Oh, definitely. Thank you. Please do.
And I think I'm also going to have some dinner.
Yeah, go on. Me too.
But yeah, I think we had a good podcast. I'm really curious to the result.
Oh yes, please let me know how it goes, because of course I could just like talk about my stuff forever, but it's not the thing. I feel so nice. I didn't expect this. I went to be skeptical because, you know, psychedelics. Why would I meditate like for 3 hours or do shamanic drums if I can just go on a field and pick some mushrooms? But you know, it was way more controllable in the terms of message I got from it, which is nice.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, if you take psychedelics, you usually have no control.
Yeah,
and when you do this, it's more lucid. You know, you can ask a question, you can focus.
Yeah, but it's psychedelics. It's more visual, and my artist name is Symmetric Vision, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for it, and yeah, let me know how it goes, and if there's anything we need to add or everything, just let me know. I'll be there at any moment.
All right, dope. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Please send me those things. I really need to do some research now.
Definitely will.
Yeah, thank you, Shaman Mick.
Pleasure's mine, man. We keep in touch.
Oh, definitely. Okay, take care, dude. Bye-bye.
Take care, man.
Thank you for this. It was awesome, really. Fuck, I will have to think about this.
Appreciate it.
Me too. I don't know it yet, but future me will know it, and it will let you know, right?
You will become the snake, man.
Oh yeah, I should.
All right, brother.
Cheers.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
This is Shamanic Business.